If I go, yeah, it's pretty echoey.
Butterscotch. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 64 of Coffee with Butterscotch, the game dev comedy podcast of Butterscotch Shenanigans. I'm Seth and I'm the games programmer.
I'm Adam and I'm the robotic bit slinger.
I'm Sam. Ooh, that was good.
Right?
Yeah. I don't even have a title anymore.
Sam got demoted.
I'm Carol. I'm PR.
And today is September 20th. 2016. And before we get started, we have a warning. Anything can happen on the show. There's going to be profanity, definitely guaranteed on that. So children, get out. Stop listening.
I think
Let's
they're
get
gone now.
started. I
They're
think
gone so we can swear.
we gave them plenty of time. All right, guys. We got some news.
Let's first talk about where we're podcasting from.
We're podcasting from the storage room in my basement.
When you put it like that, it sounds like less of an upgrade.
We upgraded our podcast setup to a giant echo chamber.
Yeah.
It's so cozy.
Yes.
Take a picture.
We're in the process of we what do you call it? We set up it's like a bed fort situation in the corner
That
of
was
we
not
call this-
inaccurate.
We call
It's
this like
bed fort. Where are all the pillows? We need mountains of
Ooh.
pillows.
Yeah.
Those
Oh,
soak up
that would
sound.
help for the sound dampening.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we
Andy's
just
mom
kind of took
Oh,
over
yeah.
this corner of the storage room, and we got a card table and a bunch of $10 chairs.
Walmart.
It's
So we are-
comfortable.
Our butts are just, it's like sitting on a cloud.
I'm just
If all of our butts aren't completely numb by the end of this hour, I'm going to be shocked.
It's a really aggressive, hard
I'm just-
cloud.
I'm enjoying the fact that my chair has a back on it. Because normally 3 of us are sitting on, or I guess 2 of us at least are on stools.
Cardboard
out in-
stools.
Yeah, it's weird.
In a lot of ways, we have upgraded our setup. But yeah, so we're going to be working overtime on getting some sound dampening foam nailed to the walls. And
We have
stuff.
what you call maybe a minimum viable product set up for today. There's 2 curtains hanging up.
Yeah, it's
not really
especially-
blocking any space.
It especially
hilarious
helps.
how small they
especially
are.
helps if you move the definition of viable just down real
just throw
far. Yeah,
Throw
It
the bar
is-
in the sand.
It's the perfect location for D&D, though. It feels really
Ooh, yeah.
it is.
ideal.
Dungeony?
Yes, dungeony and just exactly where you would imagine a D&D session.
True. We'll just
Yeah.
need a second card table probably or something
Yeah.
to fit all the chaos that would happen during D&D.
Well, can we talk about the construction of this? So we came in this morning and started building it. And Seth was like, we should wait for Andy to get here because Andy
Because
knows how to
we're
build
gonna fuck
things.
it up, and Andy wouldn't.
And
So-
sure enough, so we start, Andy comes in, we tell him what we're going to do. And like half of it's good. And then we talk about how our plan is for hanging up these curtains, which is basically just to nail them into the ceiling. You know, when you put it like that, again, it doesn't sound like a
It's
graceful
not.
solution.
Yeah, it's not super elegant.
Although actually, as I'm looking up there, I could just see nails poking through the ceiling.
Yeah. So, you know, that's what.
Yeah, there's already tons of nails up there.
That's how
But
people
so,
build
yeah,
stuff.
We ended up, we did hang one essentially with little picture hangers and popped some holes through the top of it. But the other one, we were trying to figure out what to do because it's sort of trapped between some air ducts. And there's not really a lot of, viable nailing space in steel air ducts. We don't want to poke holes in Seth's air conditioning system.
I mean, I guess.
So I was like, oh man, I don't know what to do about this. And then Andy goes, wait. And then he reached down and we have that mini arcade cabinet, the foam one that he made a few weeks ago, just laying on the ground. And he cracks it open and reaches inside and pulls out this like spool of string out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's like, I got 15 yards of string we can use.
And then he attaches it to a yardstick and slides it through the curtain. So now we have actually a little string.
He threaded the needle to make a legit curtain out of it.
And then while I was getting the first nail put in or getting the first hanger put in, I look over and he hands me the string to get it set up. And he built in like a bunch of different loops while I was nailing into the string.
Yep.
So I could pick which one, like a belt, which loop to put it on to get the appropriate tightness to get the curtain up.
Oh my God.
It's like, what
Yeah.
is this wizardry?
That's why I was like, we should wait. We should wait for Andy. We got to set our egos aside.
Yeah.
Just let Andy handle this situation.
I feel like I made the joke last week that we brought him on the team as just our general contractor.
He's killing it.
Yeah, it's really amazing. He just builds all kinds of amazing stuff.
Yeah. So hopefully the space isn't terribly echoey for this week.
We'll be working on it. It's a work in progress. Also,
Is the computer making
our
noises?
equipment, either the computer or the audio box sounds like a jet engine right now.
What's going on?
I don't know.
It's about to take off.
I guess we'll see if it survives the podcast.
We're probably going to get yelled at by Fat Bard after he edits.
he yells at
Why did
us.
you guys just suddenly move into an echo chamber without consulting me?
Yeah, every time we record, Fat Bard comes over and just hits all of us in the face just once.
How dare you?
Next week, we're going to record from an airplane hangar.
He's like, oh, you guys.
There's an F5 tornado that I hear is coming into town, so we're going to set up shop outside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just inside the
tornado. Be a great sound.
We'll be like, you can just handle that in post, right? You can just cut out the whole tornado.
You're the sound magician.
Yeah. And then also we're going to Expo this week.
Yeah.
Well, some of us.
Some of us.
I was going to go, but then every time I go, I get sick for about 3 to 6 weeks.
Because
and
your
I'm getting
big
married.
immune system.
Yeah, and I'm getting married in a little bit.
Yeah. No, that wasn't
So
an
yeah.
insult from Carol. That was a description of Sam's
Yeah.
immune
Hey.
system, which is that it's
Poor
like a
infant.
baby. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's fresh.
It is
True
brand spanking new.
Well, I didn't actually understand this until Adam pointed out. Because what is that for real? It sounds like a jet engine. What is,
I don't know what
Which thing is making that noise?
I don't know.
It's because there's no circulation in here.
oh God. Anyway,
I bet nobody could even hear it, and that we're just sound like crazy people.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Squealing
Hopefully.
Yeah.
There's
Anyway,
there's
carry
a
on.
screaming blow dryer. But anyway,
Carrying about your immune system.
So Adam pointed out, and because my thought was always, okay, I'm getting someone else's immune system, so it's going to come with
Their
goodies.
immunity.
Right.
Yeah.
And Adam was like, well, you're getting all their stem cells,
Yeah.
and the stem cells don't have the immunity.
They don't know
They
anything.
don't know anything. And then I was like, oh, that's why
Mm-hmm.
you suddenly have to get all your shots and why you generally feel like, well, they keep on reiterating this thing, like you're essentially a toddler again for, well, I guess just starting over. So
Every time you go to school, you're going to come back with a snotty nose.
That's
And
true.
sticky hands.
that's basically what's happening. Yeah.
Gross.
Sam is perpetually covered in
I'm
Cheeto
just-
powder.
Oh, man. Cheetos are my vice.
Yeah, when we were playing, we
dusty.
played a game last week called Secret Hitler,
Oh my God, this was incredible.
which is a game where one of you is Hitler and nobody knows which one.
Well, somebody does.
Yeah.
Hitler knows, and the other fascist knows
Yeah.
who's Hitler, but nobody else knows.
It's a game like Werewolf or
Yeah.
Mafia, if anyways. But
But the game features these envelopes that contain secret information about the players, and Sam
got my Cheeto fingers.
He Cheeto grease dusted all over one of the envelopes, so now everybody knew which one was which.
It was a brand new copy. We just opened the cellophane.
Sam was like, "Let me just hold on. Let me get out my Cheeto bag. Gonna taint this new game."
One time you came over to my apartment to play video games, and I have
Did I
a
do the
white
same thing?
PS4 with white controllers, and you're like, I brought Cheetos. And I was like, you do not, we are not playing
oh
after
God,
that.
I didn't realize this was like a common theme. Everyone's been complaining
Watch
about
it.
it on the back.
You're like
the damn Cheeto
You're like the
fingers.
Johnny Appleseed of Cheeto dust.
I wish Cheetos grew in the ground. My
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
my lawn would be a
It
Cheeto
would be
forest.
you'd be weeding a lot probably.
And with a marshmallow marsh.
You guys would come over. I'd just be covered in Cheeto dust, faces covered. Like, what have you been doing?
Farming
What
Cheetos.
happened to them Cheetos?
Anyway, Expo it's a convention. It's either called Expo or XPO.
I think it's XPO.
It's all caps, spelled XPO.
Yeah.
There's no periods or anything, so it's hard to parse. This is the first year it's happened, right?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
sponsored by
Cheetos.
Cheetos. It's sponsored by the
If
Tulsa Tourism Foundation. So
Super
they're,
cool.
they're like putting a lot of effort into making it a really, really rad convention. So I'm excited to see what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's in Tulsa, and we're gonna be there starting.
Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah.
So we'll land Thursday. We'll set up. We'll have stuff it's time to kill. So if anybody wants to meet up and hang out, we're not planning a fan meetup the way that we did for PAX, just because we figure there was only like 5 people who showed up for the PAX one.
Yeah.
And that was like an event with 70,000 people. So
Yeah.
we
In
figure
Seattle.
Although
City.
actually 98% of our players are in Tulsa. I don't know if you guys knew this.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So
Maybe
You
we'll get 6 people.
yeah, we'll get a bigger turnout.
But yeah, if you're going to be there, tweet us. There's also a thread in the forums of just trying to find out if folks are going to be there. If you'll be there, let us know and we can keep an eye out for you and
do some high fiving.
do some high fiving, give you some butterscotch candies.
And you should attend the convention because we are going to have some people on panels.
Yeah.
We're going to have some talks. Adam and I are giving a talk about
something.
Oh wait, it's about how to get into game dev.
You guys are
Yes.
selling this very poorly.
We have we have so much shit going on.
It's a 20-minute talk on Sunday about how Butterscotch got started and the kind of the process by which one could go to become an indie dev.
Yeah.
We're not guaranteed to be on any other panels, but I told them to let us know because we all really like hearing the sounds of our own voices.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Exhibit A, podcast.
Plus
Sounds so smooth.
we have a booth as well.
Yep.
There. So you can swing by our booth anyway.
And you can meet Andy. This is the first time
Yeah,
we've
the
ever
general
brought
contractor.
Andy out into public.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yep.
true.
No, we took him to the Science Center. I take that back.
Yeah. Well, I guess the greater public.
Greater.
The
Out
nationwide
into the
public.
world.
Is this the final stage of our worldish tour?
No.
Well, I guess no. Right?
No, so we Worldish Tour continues here in St. Louis after that.
Yeah. Okay. Pixie Pop.
Because we're doing Pixel Pop. We're going to be speaking and we may be showing for one of the 2 days. It kind of depends on how we can finagle that. Because you're getting married that weekend.
Yeah, I got some stuff going on.
And so a lot
That
of us
entire weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a party.
it's like a 46
I think
hour
after
wedding.
nearly dying a bunch of times, I get to have maybe 2 or 3 days
You should.
to celebrate.
You should do whatever
my
you
marriage.
want.
Do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after Pixel Pop, where I'm going to be on a bunch of panels. I'm giving a talk. Seth's going to be giving a talk. Adam might be on a panel or two. And then, like I said, we'll be showing. And then Seth and Adam are going to Seattle again for Steam Dev
next
Days.
Days.
The next day.
Yeah.
It is literally the next day.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
It's on Monday?
Yeah.
It's on Monday. So
Yeah.
Pixel Pop. So Sam's wedding and Pixel Pop end simultaneously, and then we go to sleep for like an hour.
And then we go to
And
Seattle.
we go to Seattle again because we were just there 2 weeks ago.
And then we might also be going somewhere else for a secret thing.
Yeah.
For one day after.
Yeah.
Which is
If-
also in
Super.
essentially Seattle. so
Totally secret.
super secret. And then I'm going to Indiecade in LA,
Yep.
That's that
That's
weekend.
that
which is that
same
weekend.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So things are busy.
There's a few things happening.
We just really like flying.
Yeah, it's the best. So anyway, if we're still trying to make some progress on other stuff. Working on Butterscotch ID updates. We got to update all the older games as well. So we have some fixes and stuff coming down the pipe for those.
Yeah. We haven't updated them for a while. So to no one's surprise, that means they're all about to break.
Yep. They're
Because of
right
updates
on the
to
verge.
operating systems and storefronts.
On
So-
October 17th, they will all break unless we have it fixed by
Everything
then.
will disintegrate. Actually, last Friday we posted a really cool before and after picture of an example of what the updates might be. So if you check out our blog, the Friday recap, the weekly recap has a quadrupus side by
Yes.
side.
Well, sadly, this one, the Quadrupus update will definitely
That's a
not
different
hit by October 17th,
No, that's true.
but it will hit soon. We also have, we have the Humble Bundle, which just ended.
By the time
by the
people
time
listen to
you're
this
listening to
podcast.
this,
Oh, is it over now?
yeah. So if you missed it, well, that sucks.
It's over now.
I bet.
We
We're
only
gonna-
tweeted about it like 100 times and talked about it in the last 2 podcasts.
Every time this happens, though, today, I bet you today, we're going to get a bunch of emails from people like,
Hey, I wanted to buy that Humble Bundle.
yeah,
How do I?
I had so much time.
code, please.
Yeah, we were laughing about it. We do T-shirt runs, and we do them from a local print shop called Tiny Little Monster, who are fantastic. And we can only do it for a limited time. So there's a 3-week window where shirts are available, and we kind of just get orders throughout the 3-week period. And then as soon as the moment the orders close, we just get a deluge of emails and tweets of people who are like, "Hey, I'm about to order one of these shirts. Where's the link? I don't see."
It's crazy. It's literally like a quarter of whatever the total orders are after
Just
we're
people,
done.
yeah, we get
those
that
people are-
number of questions
Yeah.
about how
Yeah.
come they can't buy a
Which
shirt.
is a lot of what prompted us to try to get a real merch store set up,
Mhm.
which Carol's been working on.
Carol merch.
Carol merch.
Oh, weird. Because my last name sounds like
It's
merch.
hilarious.
That
Name
is-
jokes are hilarious.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think we should
thought
devote
that
a
was
significant portion of a future podcast to talking about what this process is. Like
The
once
merge
we actually
process.
once we actually
Yeah.
have this set up, because I think there's probably a lot of people out there who are like, how would you even do that?
Yeah, it's been incredible to go through just the entire start to finish, and we haven't even finished yet, but the research process and
Start to
setting up-
middle.
start to middle of getting, because how many people actually think about warehousing and shipping and all of that on their own versus hiring people to do it. I don't know. It's a really complex.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
There's a big reason why we haven't gotten it done up until now.
Yeah.
Because it's hard as hell to do.
And we even reached out to a couple other studios just to see how they handle it. Because, we identify all these people who are doing really cool things like Behemoth and like Clay and all these other studios. And it's really hard to find a good means to actually distribute cool stuff. So
plus all these people who we reach out to, they're so busy managing their merch shops. They don't have a lot of time to talk about it.
No, it's
so.
true. It's tough. It's a big job.
Yeah. Oh, and the last piece of news we have before we get into questions.
It's very important.
Is there was a spider in an envelope.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on it.
I forget about the spider.
Wait, what actually happened? Because all I know is I was here in the room getting the new podcast stuff set up, and all of a sudden Adam and Carol come running in and being like, look at this.
Well, the best part was it was like a check envelope. So there's a little
hole.
There's a little window.
An envelope with a plastic window on it.
Just a fucking huge spider just chilling in the window. Like a
Just hanging out.
Carol and I were talking while everybody else was setting up the room. And as I was talking, I just looked into the corner and just saw a giant spider hanging out there. And I was like, oh, I should just go catch this guy. And I just happened to have that envelope on my desk, and it was the closest thing in hand. So I just sealed it up, trimmed the end off, popped it open, and then just stuck it on him. So he ran inside, and then I had a little spider.
The spider's like,
oh,
free envelope.
and he went right to the window, and just kind of that's where he wanted to be, I guess. so it was
Would look
picturesque.
out.
Yeah, last week we had either the same spider or a very similar spider. It was
think
like
it was the
this
same one.
giant wolf spider thing.
Yeah.
And Andy and I were trying to capture it because
Did you
we don't
succeed?
believe in. Yeah, well,
Nice.
sort of. We don't believe in murdering creatures here. So Andy was trying to capture it with a piece of paper and a cup and was like, chased it into the bathroom. Like, where's it going? It's
There was a
hiding.
lot of screaming.
Yeah, it was just like, and we finally caught it and put it outside. But I wonder if he just found his way back inside.
Probably did.
Well, there may have been another one because shortly after you guys caught the window, I didn't tell you guys this.
Oh no.
because we're podcasting right here. But after you guys, I was like, I gotta set up the computer real quick to get the podcast stuff set up. So I run in here, I start typing stuff, and all of a sudden I feel like a little like brushy feeling on my shoulder, and I look over, and that a spider of same type and size just
On your shoulder?
just hanging out on my shoulder.
I
And
think
I was
it's the same one.
it was just kind of
ran back
brushed it off, and then it was sitting on the floor. I was like, he's fine. I just let it wander off.
It's like a parrot.
Yeah.
Did he talk to you?
No, I didn't hear anything, but I respect spiders because they take care of all the insects that get into your house or whatever.
I do feel like though if spiders parroted noises, they would just be screaming all the time. Because that's what people usually do when they find a spider. They're like, whoop, whoop, whoop. So the spider would just kind of walk up and start doing that shit. Be like, spider?
Or
Get out of my house.
or they would just be like really chilled out. They'd just be like sitting in their web,
Spider
just being
bro.
like, hey.
Hey.
Well,
Well,
just chill my web.
there's a spider in a stairwell at my apartment that's just been it's taken up residence between the windows.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought for a long time it's been dead because there's just this funnel of spider webs that have built up inside this window, and there's always this giant spider in the same spot. So I just assumed it was dead. So today I was walking out to my car, and I just walk up to the window, and I take my key and I just tap in front of the spider. And I just go, tink. It's like, and he just like runs down and hides. I was like, okay, it's alive. And then I decided I had to name it. So I decided to name it Tink. And so now every day I'm going to say goodbye to Tink.
Are you
When
going
I
to
scared the shit out of me.
No, now I know that he's alive.
Enjoy
I'm
your
not gonna,
horror.
yeah. I feel bad for scaring Tink. That's why I named him.
14.
Well, I want to point out that when Adam and Carol came in, they were just like, look at this. That's all they said.
No
there was
context.
not like, hey, we caught my spider envelope. So I was like, did someone mail us a fucking spider? This is some really gross hate mail.
It has somehow survived the journey. It would be a pretty amazing story.
Would be impressive.
Yeah.
You probably
Well, if
just-
somebody mails you a
Don't mail
spider,
spiders.
is that if somebody mails you a spider, is that hate mail or
Love mail.
is it fan mail?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or love mail?
Or Fang.
Because
mail.
somebody's
Or
like,
is it web mail?
Okay, that's enough of that.
And our pun game's on point.
All right, let's get on to some questions from humans.
All right. These questions come from podcast.bscotch.net. You can ask them with your Bscotch ID or anonymously. You get a sweet perk, though, if you got a Bscotch ID. And I want to point out before we get started, actually, that one of the guys who, or gals, I don't even know, who we answered a question about last week, I think, sent us a picture of a butterscotch beer that they drank. Apparently, it was delicious.
Was it?
So it was too sweet.
Was it like root beer or beer?
I think
Root
it was
beer.
Beer.
What? I thought it was non-alcoholic. They said that it was more like root beer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It said butterscotch beer on it. So
Yeah.
it's like,
I thought they were just talking about
Butter-
the flavor, that it was like, it had a root beer aroma
Oh.
to
well,
it.
they said you should only have one a day because it was so sweet.
Yeah.
But I thought it was alcoholic. And if I have a beer, then I'm like, good, because I'm a lightweight and a half.
Yeah.
So that's just a good general rule. One a day.
Because you got that
can just
baby
throw some
liver.
alcohol in it. The baby liver.
Primarily baby parts at this point. Okay, so first
Baby
question of the week
legs.
comes from Kinataha, who asks, this week's discussion of your Don't Be a Jerk policy led me to thinking about your opinion of swearing within the community. You guys swear on the podcast, and I enjoy swearing. Fuck yeah. Do you usually read more hostility into comments with cussing?
I think it depends on how the cussing is framed.
Totally agree.
Yeah, you should cuss with people, not at people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It's like
I
making
view because there's probably two types of profanity. There's emphasis profanity, right? We like, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Which is sort of just like underlining the word amazing and putting it in bold. That's what that does. Yeah. And then there's the other type where you use it and aim it at someone or something.
Targeted profanity.
Yeah. So it becomes about a noun instead of just like a modifier, right?
Right.
Does that seem fair?
Right. Well, let's just talk about
It's
the.
mostly about intent, though.
What do you guys think about just the role of cussing in general, as far as
I fucking love cussing.
speech? What does it do? What does it do for you? You know,
It's like putting HTML in your speech. You know, so you can put like bold around stuff and so on, but without requiring necessarily to use inflection to do it.
did you know that there's been some psych studies, which I'm sure Adam's gonna be like nonsense, but there's been some psych studies to show that
At least
you
that
said-
there have been psych studies.
At least you
People-
said there's been some and not just one, because
people trust people more who swear. Fuck.
Trust me. Fuck
I
it.
I found that when giving talks or when teaching classes, like when I was a TA in college and when I was teaching in grad school, that one of my strategies was to always in my initial talk and talk about who I am and what the class was about and so on would be just throw in some shits,
Yeah.
right? Because I
Just throw
found
some
that
shit
the
in
moment
there.
that I did that, everybody kind of looked at each other a little bit. And then
You're like, all right,
and
he's
then
cool.
there
He's
was
cool.
like-
He's one of
yeah,
us.
exactly. Then there was
It's
kind of
fine.
like, you could just feel the room relax a bit, right? Because it kind of brought the
Formality.
temperature of the room down, right, and changed the formality of it, which I think is good.
I generally limit myself to dams and shits when I'm giving a talk.
Yep.
So you
Hell is
in
a
there.
good one. It's not. I mean,
Hell's a great
hell
one.
is like it's more like somewhere between a place and a swear word.
Yeah.
You know.
And I use heck when it's almost like a funny. Heck is to me a funnier version of hell.
Well, dang, heck, and crap.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
good
because you could swear, especially if you are swearing and then you use the word heck. It has a comical edge to it, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's seeing a revisited popularity in modern culture because people have started saying stuff like hecking instead of fucking.
Hecking?
Like this is my hecking job. You know,
I haven't heard anybody say this.
That's awesome.
mostly
though.
it's youngsters that I see say it.
Youngins.
We're so out of touch.
Teens.
Yeah, we're too old now.
Them
Yeah.
tweens, heckin' tweens. Them dang heckin' tweens. Yeah, but I think
Crapping up my stuff.
it's just fun to swear, and I think it also. So we started swearing when we were, I don't know,
Youngsters.
8.
Yeah, same.
Watched a lot of South Park.
Well,
Yeah,
we also
probably shouldn't
had a
have.
conversation from our pappy.
Oh yes, the
Because
druid.
he heard us slinging swear words around, but we didn't know what we were doing.
And he was like,
And it was
"Sit down,
it
you."
was embarrassing for him, and he was like, because he respects the swear, right? He was like, okay, here's the deal: you can swear in the house, I don't care, whatever, but you need to know how to do it
I
correctly.
think he said, "I don't give a shit."
I don't give a shit.
I don't give a fuck.
So he talked to us about swearing etiquette,
Mm-hmm.
and when
This is true. It's just true.
the circumstances where it's where it's totally fine and nobody cares and whatever, and it wasn't because a lot of kids are raised in this blanket policy of
No swearing.
never swear. But of
Yeah.
course they are going to.
And adults are allowed to swear
It's sort
somehow.
of, yeah, it's sort of an abstinence-only swearing
Yeah.
education.
And it works just
which
as
of course,
poorly.
the kids are going to swear.
I'm gonna be honest.
You know?
All the kids I knew who had that policy in their homes,
They didn't-
terrible at swearing.
they
and
don't know how
also
to do it at
swore
all.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in more vulgar ways.
Yeah,
though, you know.
like in gross ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, would you stop?
Like, you're bad at this. You need to practice.
Nobody ever taught me how to swear. Nobody told me. Nobody guided me. I was just left with my own Lord of the Flies swearing device.
They need to have a health class in school devoted to how
Yeah.
to properly swear.
Yeah. Yeah. Swearing needs to be taught in etiquette.
It should be
There
called
needs to be-
swearing is caring.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that's a good just rule out there for parents, parents listening, if you have your kids, when they turn
8.
5, 6, 2,
3,
just sit them down and have the talk
Yeah.
about the ways of the world and how to swear effectively and appropriately and
The birds and the goddamn bees.
and to use it and to use it to affect positive change in the world, and not to bring people down.
That's right.
Right.
Be the profanity you want to see in the world.
That's right.
Yeah,
Fuck
because you might notice we never direct our swears at people. So our swears, they're all jovial or exasperatorial.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Exasperatorial.
Torrie,
I use them
even.
as sort of modifiers of things that are directed at other people, like fucking idiot.
Yeah, I would say that's not okay.
That's probably a little. Adam, you just crossed the swear.
Yeah, Adam, you broke it. You broke.
But it's funny, though,
you need
'cause-
to go back and practice.
But the bad part of that is actually just calling somebody an idiot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's not the modifier.
No, you're absolutely right.
well, but the fact that you decided to make it in bold, it just drives home the point that you really think that person's an idiot.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I think it's okay to say that about politicians, though, basically across the board.
I mean, there probably are people about which that seems like a fair thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as I'm going to go. I'm going to backpedal out of this very quickly. All right, next question comes from Mirunin, who asks, Dear Butterscotch, do you currently have any games in the making that are anything near the scale of Crashlands?
oh god, no.
I just wanted to touch base on this because we said we got a lot of stuff going on
Mhm.
and kind of talk about what we're up to as far as game stuff and that, because we give an update once every couple of weeks as far as what we're actually aiming to do, and we pivot all the time. So where we pivoted to this week, team.
How much info do we want to put out? I mean, it's not really info because it's going to change probably in another
Probably
3
won't
weeks.
say.
Yeah.
Don't depend on it.
But it's interesting hearing about the thought process, I guess.
Yeah. Well, so the reality is that Seth is essentially as the one games programmer is currently completely bound up with all Crashlands stuff, finishing that porting stuff and some other secrets. That we
Yeah,
can't
his
talk
skill set is the one skill set we can't just decide, let's have less of that.
Yeah.
So that we can just move forward with something, because that is the one thing that is just required.
Yeah, I'm bottlenecking real good.
Yeah, because we can
right
just be
now.
like, no, we'll just not put web stuff in the next game, and that way I don't even have to be involved, and I'm not a bottleneck anymore.
But there does have to be some game programming in the next.
There has to always
Yeah.
be game programming,
Yeah.
so there's no way to step back.
So with that sort of fact established, where Seth is locked out of doing new game stuff essentially for a while, some period
Probably a
of time.
few months at least.
Yeah, especially as long as Sure is still catching up to
Mhm.
Yep.
speed.
Mhm.
So while Sure's catching him to speed, we're going to turn around and basically put the art and PR side of things to bear on Quadrupus,
The original
the
quadrupus.
original.
Mhm.
So
This is a big
I
announcement.
don't want to
guys.
say. Well, I'm not. It's one of our. This is what we're doing this week. Maybe we'll be doing something else next
Yeah.
week.
I will.
Announcements.
Yeah, I will qualify this statement with the fact that since I have joined the studio, we have pivoted, I think, at least 3 or 4 times on major projects.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
We have had,
And that's slower than usual.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I've only been here for 3 months now,
Yeah.
and it is almost every 2 weeks we pivot major projects because something doesn't quite line up, especially with bottlenecking and things like that.
Mhm.
So it's what we're working on now.
Yeah. And I think it's also fair to say that we are we're in uncharted territory as a studio,
Mhm.
which is we've never had a game out like Crashlands that so many people were playing and interested in that had the potential to come to new platforms and stuff like that, where it was worth putting the time into working on it post-launch. So our normal approach was put a game out, hear the crickets, and then be like, well, I guess we'll do the next one,
Time to
right?
move on.
And even games that we put out that were received well still didn't perform well enough for us to justify putting, more time into them, which is kind of a weird catch-22 that if a game doesn't do well, you can't put more time into it to make it do
well.
better. Because most of the impact of the game is at launch. And if it doesn't really go anywhere on launch, then the amount of work required to try to sort of recapture that is ridiculously huge. Because you also then don't have the big push from the launch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
unless you can somehow finagle a big push from a major update.
yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So because we've grown the studio now, we have 6 people, and we're learning how to sort of manage that side of things. Working on the merch shop, we have all kinds of other stuff happening, and I'm still bottlenecked as the programmer for another few months, and I have been since January. Since Crashlands came out.
We're still working on the creator.
Yeah, so we're also going through the motions of figuring out how do we, for example, apply Sam's art skills.
Yeah, so I don't rust out
to
before
game
the next
projects when I'm so caught up in working on updates for Crashlands that Sam doesn't have any art to make.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the solution?
To update old games.
Yeah.
Well, and it's perfect because that's how we've been training Sure is by letting him kind of dive into old projects and see how Seth has programmed things in the past and help kind of walk him through the process of updating things just without having any idea what's going on. So it really makes a lot of sense. And I think it's going to be really cool to see Sure grow through the process of updating these old games and also see all the new art
comparisons
because it's gorgeous.
Pretty stark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Quadrupus, the idea was originally to do sort of a small content expansion and just add some new cool stuff for players to interact with. I won't say more than that, but we're looking at putting more stuff in Quadrupus.
And making it look nicer.
Yeah. And with that new stuff would come new art requirements. And so Sam was like, yeah, I can bang that out. No problem. And so Sam started looking into all the existing art of Quadrupus.
It's terrible.
And his eyes just popped out of his skull because of how much his art has improved and changed since then.
Which is good, I suppose.
Yeah, but you got a
good.
semi-permanent eye twitch from it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's got the 1,000-yard stare. So the problem now is adding new art to a 3.5-year-old game with a new art style basically would put all the existing stuff in stark contrast with the new stuff, and it would look pretty bad.
So why not just rebuild all of it?
Why not?
That's what I'm going to do.
So that's the yeah. So the plan is big art overhaul plus the content updates.
And the reasoning for this is that I think the important thing to understand is that because as much as Seth has been bottlenecked on doing just essentially Crashlands programming since January, I actually haven't done a lot of art since last October-ish when the game was essentially
when we
finished.
started beta for Crashlands.
And that's a problem because, of course, if we want our next games to grow and to sell better and stuff, they just need to look better. And if I'm rusting out, if I go essentially a year without going really full time on some art stuff, it's problematic. So it'll be an interesting thing, and also just an interesting experiment to see what we can do as far as like updating a game in a big way, and if that's worth it at all, because it will be a big update. So it'll be
and I'm mostly excited about the new visuals on the warp sphincters.
You almost made sense.
I was shot coffee out of my face.
We had one of our players called it the womb stairs.
Womb stairs.
Womb stairs. Yeah, whatever it is pretty gross. And
it'll probably just be grosser.
well, yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm excited about.
ideally.
Because the existing one is gross in concept, but
not in
it
execution.
doesn't the art doesn't capture how
it's
disgusting
in
it is.
that uncanny valley grossness.
It's like a
It's more
really
canny.
shiny cat anus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you stand on and then get sucked into and
Yeah.
That's how warp stickers work,
reappear
man.
The entire
reappear 10 meters lower.
Yeah, the entire first couple of hours when I played Quadrupus, I just jumped off the edges because I didn't want to go into
Well, it is kind of funny that if you fall off the edge, like in both cases, you just end up in the same spot. And like conceptually, the sphincter is just a hole in the floor.
Yeah, but when you go into the warp sphincter, you pop up out of the next warp sphincter, right? And so that's why you don't take fall damage.
Is that how that works?
When you go down the sphincter, you don't fall to the next level. You pop out of
What are the
the
mechanics of that topologically? Because
It's
you're
a-
on
It
one
works-
layer above. You
well, no,
go
it's you're missing the key word, which is it's a warp sphincter.
Okay, right.
It's not just a sphincter.
it's a warp.
It's a warp sphincter.
Well, it connects through all of the very complicated large intestines of the ocean.
Yeah.
yeah, and then it warps you. to the level.
We could do maybe we could do it like a ovipositor animation
Where it
so
kinda
you step
goes-
up, but it goes and it just, like, shoots you into the.
Ooh, that would be beautiful.
I could do that. Yeah,
Can I do the
yeah.
sound
You can do
effects
sound
for it?
effects.
And it would be even better if for some reason like some kind of goo dripped out of it, even though it's under the ocean.
Wait,
and
let's
there's-
talk about disgusting sound effects. It's like last week I got super sick.
Oh yeah.
So I got really sick randomly on Thursday night, as happens on occasion because of this immune system or something. I don't know.
Yeah, after the Butterscotch big day of fun, it just was so fun that you couldn't even
It was
handle
so
it.
fun. I had to just vomit all over the place.
Wait,
so
did this happen after you digested your 1 pound steak?
yeah, the
Because-
steak got through.
Okay, good. Because that'd be a waste of steak.
Yeah. Oh, it was. I was actually laughing. I shouldn't say this, but I was telling Diana, I was like, "It doesn't taste bad. Coming up a second time, the steak is so good." She's like, "This is disgusting." Yeah. So I threw up a ton, and my vomit skill. I'm just gonna call it that. My vomit skill has sort of increased.
You
I feel like
leveled
I'm a
it up.
master level vomiter at this point because of all the chemo stuff.
So you're like journeyman vomiter.
I was before.
Oh, now you're
You
an
know,
artisan.
I'm an artist.
Artisan vomiter.
So it's like a real powerful sort of fire blast hose situation now. Like my body's just like, here we're going. It's go time. Everything lines up. Boom. And so
Oh, like a cannon.
I was.
Do you even have the additional heaves afterwards, or is it just one big heave, get it all out, you're just done?
I mean, it's usually a couple heaves. It's
And-
a
but have
couple
you
just like,
and have you also developed some kind of like posture
Yeah,
that
I got a
allows
great
for
posture.
maximum
yeah, it's kind of like
where you kind of turn your torso into a cannon?
What is it, that yoga cat pose? That's basically like the screeching cat pose.
Or
Yeah,
that dance move where your back does those like weird arch.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. You got to work it out. so anyways, I've
Imagining you
assumed
just on
the
your-
position.
All fours just like arching
Yeah,
your
that's
back
exactly it.
up and down.
All fours, arch back,
I'm drawing this just so that I can remember this forever.
just ready to go. And so I start throwing up, and because I've done it so many times now, it doesn't really bother me anymore that I'm doing it.
It's just a thing you
It's
do.
just a thing to do. So I'm actually, when I'm throwing up, I'm actually just thinking about other stuff. It's just so I'm throwing up, and the so the vomiting now has screaming in it. So I'm throwing up and screaming at the same time.
Is screaming or yelling, or which?
I mean, like, what's the difference between
I
screaming
think
and
screaming
yelling?
is like the more high pitched,
The shrill.
shrill. kind
Okay, it's more of a yell.
like a barbarian
Yes.
leap attack.
Throwing up. Yeah. Yeah, it's more like that. But the crazy thing, because it's like broken up by, this
The
vomit,
fluids.
it sounds like really kind of incredible as far as the general sound effect goes.
Just the acoustics of
yeah. But I was
But you're
so
also doing it into a bowl that's
it. A nice echo
shooting
chamber.
the
got,
sound back up.
the body heaving situation going on. So yeah, I've been throwing up, and I realized that this sound is just good, and I need Patrick. I don't know how to do this, but I need Fat Bard
to
to,
capture this.
somehow capture this, because it would be such a good noise. And for this ovipositor idea, I mean, just scream vomited you.
oh my god!
Anyways,
Can we just feed you another 1.5 pounds of steak?
I'm willing to take the hit for the team.
we
Get
can
Patrick over here for a day.
we can dose it with some ipecac.
Oh my god. Yes.
Yeah, Fat Bard thought that we were putting him through some shit with our audio setup. Wait till he's recording you scream vomiting in the bathroom.
He'd probably be like, these acoustics in here are terrible. Bowls.
He's like, hold on, can you stop vomiting for a second? Oh, I got to put some sound panels. This is horrible.
All right. Anyways, we're going to move on. Next question comes from Nichirnew, who asks, do you know insider information about Brace for Impact, the documentary that's being made following the development of Crashlands? Will it ever be released? What do we know?
We do not know
We can't say.
insider information.
If we did, we wouldn't tell you. Jeez.
Yeah, we can't tell you insider
Because that's
information.
illegal to trade on.
It is being made. I guess that's just the point I
It's
wanted to.
currently being made, and it
It will come
seems as though it will, in fact, ever be released.
Yes. There's your answers. Cool.
All right.
out. Good, done. Cool.
All right. So next question, or I guess this is more of a statement, but this is hysterical. This comes from Cold Squid. who actually met us at PAX, who says, "Dearest Butterscotch, I have a confession to make. When I met you at PAX, you gave me a pin and some candy for playing the demo. I did not know that I find the taste of butterscotch candy absolutely revolting, so I tried to hide my disgust while talking to you."
Okay, so I actually have a counterpoint to this, which is I know who this person was, and I'm pretty sure they put the pin in their mouth, not the butterscotch.
Well, that's the problem.
This butterscotch candy is sharp.
It tastes like enamel.
Yeah. So, next time just
Try the butterscotch.
I guess maybe it's our fault for handing out two hard objects and being like, put one of these in your mouth while we
easy to
distract you.
One of these is edible. One of them is not.
One of
What if
them
the
is
pins we
murder.
gave out actually just look like butterscotch candies?
Oh,
And we also gave out butterscotch candies.
Oh, that's a good
that
idea.
looked like pins.
Oh my god!
It would be like
You want a pin-shaped butterscotch or a butterscotch-shaped pin?
What?
We got both.
oh my God.
All right, next question comes from Security Risk, which is an interesting question to ask the following, or interesting person to ask the following. How do you guys manage multiple people working on the same project, and do you ever run into merge conflicts between the team?
Is this a metaphor using computer speak for personal?
Do you run into
interpersonal
merge
conflicts?
conflicts?
Where we're trying to merge
Well,
opinions? 'Cause
so
yes,
for non-programmers,
interesting.
what a merge conflict is if you have multiple people working on the same code independently of each other, at some point that code has to be put together for the thing to work.
Or
right?
merged in common parlance.
merged.
It's like when you go on the highway.
Yep. And
There's the highway.
sometimes when code is merged together, the computer's like, wait a minute, you both changed the same thing in different ways.
Mhm.
I don't know what to do about this. And that's a merge conflict. And then you need conflict resolution.
Yeah, that's when two people are driving the same speed. One person is on the entrance ramp and one
Yeah.
person is in the right lane.
And they won't,
they won't
fucking
move?
Yeah.
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 Fuckers.
Yep. And then you just drive on the shoulder for 6 miles.
Yeah.
It's another group of people we're allowed to cuss at.
Is cars
Drivers, everybody's, I think that's like,
It is
everybody
fair.
swears at drivers, right?
Yeah, it is fair to say everybody
who drives a car?
who drives
wait.
a car is an idiot,
Before
including
we
all of us.
finish answering this merging thing, was it not the FDA? Because that's a food drug.
The FBA.
What are you getting at here?
The resolutions were passed down for sort of guidelines for automated travel yesterday.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
were they like, it's not a thing? You
No,
can't
they
do
were
it."
all about it. They were like,
Oh,
yeah,
good.
They were like, it's likely that that non-human driving traffic is going to be safer for humans.
Well, duh.
I can't fucking wait.
I'm
Yeah.
so pumped.
Well, I can't remember.
Driving.
I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, but I'm just baffled at the idea because, Google they've been doing their self-driving cars as prototypes, and those cars have how many miles driven? Like over 1 million
Yeah,
miles
it's over 1 million.
with like 2 accidents.
caused by other human drivers.
Yeah, one of which was when a human was actually driving the self-driving
Yeah.
car in a parking lot to like move it somewhere or something.
Yep.
And
That's incredible.
and so that
Silly
that
humans.
safety record is fucking ludicrous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And people go,
It's almost like airline,
yeah.
level safety.
And I mean, in my life, I've driven probably a couple 100,000 miles at this point.
Mhm.
And I have had multiple cars completely destroyed. So I'm thinking, how much safer? Because like this is already way safer than a person. How much safer than a person does it have to be before everybody's on board with the idea?
I think it's also one of those things where it's because some people do like driving cars, or at least like the sort of the independence factor of hopping behind the wheel and being in control of a vehicle.
Yeah.
And then crashing.
Well, yeah, but so the thing is, like, people are very scared of airplane crashes. I think for one of these, the same sort of reason, which is that you're a passenger. You are a passenger, and so if the plane is crashing, there's nothing you could do, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the one sort of scary thing about the car situation is that while it removes player agency essentially, it makes you feel like you've lost some control over the situation. So if anything bad does happen, then you feel like you're at the mercy of the system.
There's a further problem with self-driving and manual combo, which is the more automated driving there is, the less practice you have with real
Yeah.
driving.
Mhm.
And so when you get into a situation where you may take control of the wheel,
Probably shouldn't.
you will do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And it's actually the case that
But it's also true that almost people don't get into accidents enough to be practiced at avoiding them.
That is true.
Right.
Yeah.
So even without that,
You're saying we're in this
the
sort
moment you want to come in is to fix a problem, but you don't know how to fix problems anyway, even if you were driving. all the
Yeah,
time.
but it is the case that a lot of airline crashes
Mhm.
result from basically instrument failures.
Yep.
Where the pilots did not have, because they've been spending most of their time in fully automated flight, and because maybe they haven't been keeping up with their simulations or whatever, they take over where the autopilot stops working. They take over and then they just do the wrong thing,
Mhm.
and the plane just crashes.
There's an interesting book
So-
on this called The Glass Cage.
Yep.
Which talks about automation and AI and the slightly darker side of a variety of these things. But I think that cars in particular, I'm totally down
Still
with that
better overall.
not being my problem
Yeah.
or anybody's problem.
And because a computer can't get drunk.
That is true.
So that alone
yeah.
will save how many tens of thousands of lives
Oh my gosh.
every
Too
year?
many, probably.
Many.
Yeah.
Just too many.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, back to this whole merge conflict situation.
Oh, right.
So Adam had a good point, which is merge conflicts in real life.
Yeah.
You know?
Interpersonal merge conflicts.
That's an interesting way to think about it. You know,
Yeah.
you and I are on different branches, and now we got to shove our branches.
Now we're on the
Yeah.
same
together.
branch. Yeah.
Get on
Well,
the same
typically for computers, we use Git to
Yeah.
answer the actual question.
Yeah.
We use
Yeah.
Git and we just look at it and we say, this is the change that we want it to be there. This is a change that's sort of in that realm. And if there's a way for us to actually manually merge those things together, then cool. Or if we want to throw one of them out and use the one that was written,
Mhm.
then
Then
cool.
you're good.
Then we're good.
Yeah.
And for us, it's easy because any given project we're working on is at most 2 or 3 people working on it. So when it comes to merge conflicts, they're pretty straightforward to fix almost all of the time.
Yep. And if you don't know, you can just look at that person and be like, hey, can I delete this? And they'll be like, yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
Boom. Merge conflict.
But I think-
resolved.
Bringing this to the metaphor of interpersonal conflicts, though, it actually comes out about the same.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting
When you've
one,
got
yeah.
a small team, everyone kind of, we're all sort of on the same path because we're all humans, right? So we got kind of the same baseline stuff, but then we're off on our own little branches doing our own thing. And every once in a while, when it comes to certain things we have to deal with, we need to have a merge conflict. We have a resolution.
Conflict resolution.
Conflict resolution.
Merge
Uh,
conflict resolution.
Yep. And this is usually what in terms of things like how do we choose the next pivot for the direction of the company? As Carol noted, we do once
All the
every
time.
other week or so,
Yeah.
right? We pivot the direction of the company, or try to decide whether something is valuable to us or to the company or to us as people or whatever, right?
This is fucking blowing my mind right now. The idea that basically every person is basically just like a set of information on a branch.
Mhm.
And then when they both end up in the same place or trying to do the same thing,
You're
they're
gonna
coming
merge.
at it with lines of code that don't match for the
Yep.
same process.
And the only
right?
way to resolve those conflicts in the same way as a Git conflict
is either you talk to each other and be like, how do we make both of these happen? Or one of us has to
one
delete
gets
our
to get
lines.
thrown away. Yep.
Yeah.
And,
That's how bad relationships happen.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
When you have to somebody has to delete their branch in order to favor the
Uh,
original branch.
no.
Depends
I would
if you
disagree.
have like a terrible idea,
yeah.
for example.
If you choose
Right?
if you choose the bad one and delete the good
Yeah.
one, then that's
or
how
if
bad-
someone's like, my branch is the branch.
yeah, right.
You
That's
got
how bad
you
relationship-
got to merge into this.
I worked so hard for this branch. I don't give a shit about your branch.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
like,
the
I
best
also
one
worked on
though
my
is some
branch.
combo of the
Fuck.
two, where you basically end up sort of pair programming your conflict resolution, right?
Yeah, pair
So that-
programming that's a good relationship.
Yeah.
that's
So then
Yeah.
you come up then with you identify all the conflicts, and then you start working through them and coming up with some sort of solution that gets in the middle. You're throwing out some pieces, keeping others, developing new ones until you end up where you actually want the thing to be.
Wow. This, well, guys, we did it.
Yeah.
That's a,
But the only way to do it,
metaphor
though, in the
stretch.
same way with a Git conflict, is that you need to just look at the thing and decide which one of these are actually useful and productive and valuable, right? And
Try to be objective
objectively.
about it.
And if
Yeah.
you're just like,
Instead of being like,
I love the fuck out of my code, even
I
though it
wrote
doesn't
this,
work.
so it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, exactly. Then in the same way, if you have an opinion that you love, but it's just a bad opinion, right? Or if you have a belief about something that's just not true,
You have to be willing to
You gotta be
say
willing
I
to-
was wrong about it
no,
because
you have
it's
to say
false.
that. You just say like, oh, okay, let's go with this other one instead.
Well, and also be able to comment your code,
Yeah.
being able to explain
Yeah.
why it is you feel a
Yeah.
certain way
what?
and be able to communicate to others why it is you feel a certain
You're
way.
crushing the metaphor game right now.
Comment when you commit
Yep.
to,
Yep.
commit to something.
And they call it commits, dude.
Yeah.
Gotta commit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what's really interesting that we do here that I've really appreciated is that we don't shy away from taking time away from productive, quote unquote, work to have conversations about stuff. Like we're frequently in our break area, huddled around the whiteboard, chatting about the future of the company or a certain situation that's going on, things like that. And I think that open level of communication is really, really important for merge conflicts.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of cases, people will try to merge their conflicts without having an extended discussion, and somebody winds up feeling
Like the
lousy
branch got
about it.
thrown away.
Well, because what it actually is because if you don't do that, you just aren't merging,
Yeah.
right? Like everybody's just on a different branch, working on their own code,
But also
doing
in
their
the
own
same
shit.
way with because the whole purpose of a merge conflict is that you're creating one product,
right.
right? And so it's not about who said what or who did what or who wrote what code. It's about making sure all the code works together to get that product to work. And so that should also be true in any kind of human relationship,
It's a mind meld of code.
a mind meld of some sort.
Holy shit, you guys.
Guys, this is a great metaphor.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
this coffee's disgusting. I mean, that's just a side note. We really need to get some better coffee. But.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Next question. So
was cool.
I wanted
Cool.
to hit this one since the Humble Bundle just finished, and now
Ha, ba, ba, ba.
how many? 100,000? 200,000 people?
Dude, they sold
200 plus
47 billion copies.
All right, so 47 billion people now have our source
Merge
code.
conflict.
So Fascinator asks, nerdy question alert. Are there any common coding frameworks you put in every game maker project that you leverage? And when coding via GML, do you tightly couple most things or leverage some sort of bubbling event system? I don't know what that
I don't know what
means.
either of those things mean, but
Tightly coupled would be a very accurate description of our game
okay.
coding, which means that if we
Yeah.
change anything, we probably fuck up everything else.
So
Yeah,
that's
well,
a bad approach.
So
Well,
it's not the best
in
approach.
particular in those jam games,
Yes.
which were made very quickly
Mm.
and
Yeah, a long
slapped
time
together. Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Things have gotten better since, but we do have a certain frame. I guess you can call it a framework, which is we always have the same set of rooms, which is like we have an initializer room, which sets everything up. We have a main menu room, which is where the main
Menu
Menu
is.
that'll take you
They're
to some,
fairly
that'll take you to some
self-descriptive.
settings and stuff like that. And then most of our games just have one other room, which is just called gameplay. And there's a single object in that room called controller. And that object just through code spawns everything. The entire world, the characters, the camera, sets
Does all the
everything up.
things.
Yeah. And so even in Crashlands, like if you go into the rooms in Crashlands, every room is just like a black void with a single object inside of it. So yeah,
And
we
then
don't
have a huge
That's
code
meta.
base through Butterscotch ID.
Yeah,
Of shared code.
Bscotch ID has a whole ton of convenience functions and all kinds of other stuff. And whenever we merge Bscotch ID into a game project, all of that code comes with it. So we do have a lot of shared code.
So can you
with
give any pro tips for people who bought the bundle as far as navigating all of your nonsense?
that. Yeah, I'd say don't even bother looking in the rooms. It's all in code. So just
Look at the controller.
start looking at the controller and then use that to figure out where to go.
Cool.
And the other thing is if you're trying to navigate our source code, then use Control-Shift-F because that shit is amazing. Control-Shift-F is how you can basically just look up the names of functions or variables or whatever, and it scans through all the code.
In Game
And-
Maker. we're
In
talking.
Game Maker, yeah. And it'll find the exact thing that you need, and it'll show you all the places it was used and how it was used and whatever. So that's a really good way to sort of figure out how the code works. So there you go.
Cool.
Technical question answered.
From the horse's mouth.
That's
Who you
mean.
calling? Who you calling a horse?
All right, final question of the day, and this is touching on a bit of an industry thing that happened. Chris Metzen, who's the guy who did a lot of the narrative development and world development for Blizzard over the last 20 years.
Yep.
He just retired.
He's
last week.
46.
Yeah. So
Oh,
Alan
good
Falcon
retirement.
said, share a Chris Metzen story. I don't know if I know any Chris Metzen stories.
I know
but-
a story about Chris Metzen. I don't know how true this is, but it made me be like, wow, he knows what the fuck he's doing. Which is when they first started working on World of Warcraft, I think it was in 1999, 2000 in that area. They were really struggling to come up with just like the general feel for the world and the stories and the characters and everything. And the lore was very fragmented because they had made a bunch of strategy games and stuff. And those weren't huge storytelling vehicles. They just kind of like they had stories in them, but it was all over the place. And so as the story goes, he saw that everybody was kind of struggling with this. And so he went out and got a bunch of buckets of paint, and he came into the office and just painted the map of the world on the wall. And he was just like, this is where everything is happening. Right. And so once that map was there, and the reason he painted on the wall is because it was like, it needs to be just visible all the time to remind everybody that this is the world that we're building. And this is where everything is. And that literally is exactly the map that was used in the game, just like as painted that very first time, which is super cool. And I think that shows a lot of insight as to, giving things like a concrete place and sense of like where they exist, really helps for world building.
Well, establishing constraints, right?
Yep.
Because it gives you a place to build within. Yeah, that's a big thing that it does, but it also then provides the initial set of constraints to work within, so that you don't have it's the blessing and the curse of it having infinite options at your disposal.
Yeah.
The blurs.
And so I don't know if that story is true,
But it is a good story.
but it's a good one. And if it was true, it wouldn't surprise me. So,
Good job, Chris.
there you go. Yeah. That's all I know.
Thank you
Cool.
for your contribution to narrative
Yeah.
and games.
And for being the voice of Thrall. Just
pretty cool.
good. He does a lot of he did a lot of the voiceovers in the Warcraft series.
That's cool.
He's got like a gravelly rumble voice, which I don't know what they're going to do without him. All the characters are going to have much higher pitched voices.
Can you imagine the next huge orc war hero be like, hey guys, what's going on? We got this problem over here.
I'm an orc.
Speaking of weird voices, Seth, I thought you'd appreciate this. Last night I was reading the D&D manual and I just started making that horrible voice that you hate.
Oh, God.
The baby thing. Oh, kill it.
No.
And I just started making weird sounds with it, and my cat looked really freaked out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop. I just kept making like weird, nonsensical sounds.
Did your cat was she
And I just-
frantically scratching at the door trying to get out of the house?
No, but her ears went back. She was just like looking at me really freaked out. And
I'll kill you.
I just couldn't stop laughing at myself. Every time I would make a sound, I would just start laughing uncontrollably, and then I would make more of the sound, and then I would laugh
Wait,
more.
when we do D&D, can your character
not
have
do
that
it.
No,
voice?
no.
I
I'm
would
not
love to.
playing. I'm not playing if that's.
I'm not either. I'm going to leave.
I'm out.
I'm going to
Even
murder your
if I'm a
character and then
halfling?
leave.
I love those gifs where some animal gets freaked out by something and just fucking leaves. You know, that's what I will be like.
Aw, okay.
Fuck this, I'm out. Meh, jumping off a cliff or something.
All right, well, that's it. That's it for this week's episode of Coffee with Butterscotch. Thank you all for listening. And if you like what you hear, share this around. Subscribe. Do the thing on the iTunes, on the Stitcher, SoundCloud, whatever.
Rate us. Give us the thumbs up.
or stars, whatever.
Tell your barber.
Stars.
Tell your masseuse. Tell your golf caddy.
Yeah.
Tell your cat. Tell your grandma.
What kind of life are you envisioning our people living? You guys got a golf caddy,
People
right?
who hang out with barbers, caddies, and masseuses at the same time.
And these are just friends of theirs, not like their
Yeah.
staff.
Yeah, of course.
But they sometimes use their services just to support their independent
Well, of
enterprises.
course, yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.